Elon Musk's Starlink is about to have a new rival after the European Union confirmed it will join the race to provide high-speed internet to remote areas. According to Reuters, the European Union (EU) has just announced the IRIS-2 satellite program worth €10 billion to enhance cybersecurity, connectivity and protect sovereignty amid increasing threats. IRIS-2 is the EU's third strategic satellite project, after Galileo and Copernicus, designed to compete with billionaire Elon Musk's Starlink network. The program will deploy a mega-constellation of around 1,000 satellites in medium and low Earth orbit. Expected to be operational by 2030, the project will provide secure connectivity for governments, private customers and support the EU's defense objectives. It is an important step for Europe to deal with long-term challenges such as the Russia-Ukraine conflict and cybersecurity risks. Major European technology companies such as Airbus Defence and Space, Thales Alenia Space and Telespazio will participate in the IRIS-2 project. Currently, the EU's satellite networks are operating from Ireland to Eastern Europe, providing television, internet, weather forecasting and defence surveillance. The UK, which was a member of the EU space programme before Brexit, has not yet made any moves to join IRIS-2. EU officials have said the UK could join either as a full member or through a trade deal. After leaving the EU, the UK cut ties with the Galileo satellite program and has developed its own satellite systems, such as the military Taish and Juno, due to launch in 2027, to enhance its surveillance and intelligence capabilities. In the context of global technology, technological sovereignty has become an important strategic issue for countries and regions, especially the European Union (EU). The development of the IRIS-2 project to build its own satellite network reflects the EU's efforts to reduce its dependence on non-regional providers such as Elon Musk's Starlink. The Starlink network, while providing high-speed internet connectivity and great convenience, poses challenges for governments in controlling information. Relying on a privately owned system outside Europe means that the EU may have limited access to and control of data in emergency situations. IRIS-2 is not only a technology project but also a political and security project. In the context of global conflicts, such as the war in Ukraine, the EU has seen its reliance on Starlink to provide communications for the Ukrainian military. This has highlighted the importance of an independent satellite system, not influenced by the commercial or political interests of other individuals and countries. An EU-controlled satellite network would help protect sensitive information, ensuring that strategic decisions are not influenced by outside factors. The development of IRIS-2 is also a way for the EU to assert its technological position on the global map. For many years, the region has lagged behind the US and China in advanced technology areas, including space technology. This project not only creates opportunities for technological development, but also encourages the participation of European businesses, creating a strong technology ecosystem. From research and development to production and operation, Starlink and large technology corporations often put profit first, sometimes at odds with the interests of the countries using the services. The EU's dependence on a foreign supplier can lead to risks in the event of political disputes or changes in corporate business strategies. A typical example is Elon Musk's power to decide whether to provide or stop Starlink services in certain conflict zones. As happened in Ukraine, IRIS-2 will help the EU avoid these risks, ensuring the stability and safety of the region's communication system. In short, the deployment of IRIS-2 demonstrates the EU's determination to build an autonomous technology platform that not only serves economic interests but also protects the region's defense and political position. It is not only a project that competes with Starlink, but also a strategic step to strengthen the EU's position in the new technological era. SpaceX's satellite internet service has around 7,000 satellites in orbit, according to experts, and has seen traffic skyrocket in recent years as it expands to more than 100 countries and territories. Starlink has also played a key role in the war in Ukraine, where the country's military uses Starlink for communications. The EU's IRIS-2 project is a clear signal of the competition Starlink faces in Europe. Starlink has previously dominated thanks to its ability to provide high-speed satellite internet in hard-to-reach areas, and SpaceX's support has significantly reduced the cost of launching satellites. However, the emergence of IRIS-2 is not only a challenge to market share, but also a sign of Europe's determination to build an independent satellite ecosystem. This could force Starlink to adjust its business strategy, such as reducing service prices or improving its technology to maintain its advantage. In addition, the strong support from the EU government for IRIS-2 also creates a clear competitive advantage for this project. making Starlink face a rival not only from the market but also from policy. In addition to competition, the EU's development of its own satellite network also opens up opportunities for cooperation between Starlink and European countries. Starlink, with its experience in deploying and operating the world's largest satellite network, can participate in some aspects of IRIS², such as providing technology or ancillary services. This not only helps Starlink reduce competitive pressure but also builds a strategic relationship with the EU. However, IRIS²'s autonomy and strategic goals make this cooperation only limited. And Elon Musk will have to adjust his approach to suit the strict requirements of Europe. IRIS² can pose a challenge not only in terms of market share but also in Starlink's brand positioning in Europe. Starlink has long been seen as a leading satellite internet solution, but with the emergence of IRIS², this image is at risk of being overshadowed. The EU can promote the use of IRIS² through preferential policies, leading to a shift of users from Starlink to domestic services. To maintain its position, Starlink needs to increase its marketing campaigns, affirming its superior service quality and global value. This could include emphasizing Starlink's global presence. Beyond the regional limits of IRIS², Starlink also faces regulatory barriers that the EU could apply to protect IRIS². For example, the EU could introduce stricter regulations on foreign satellites or prioritize bandwidth for domestic satellite systems. These measures would not only reduce Starlink's operational efficiency in Europe but also increase operating costs. Elon Musk will face the challenge of complying with regulations without compromising the company's flexibility and speed of deployment. In September 2023, the SpaceX boss revealed that he had refused to activate Starlink in Crimea. Musk has also been in constant conflict with European authorities, who are launching proceedings against his social network X. Europe is also looking to reduce its dependence on SpaceX rockets with the Ariane 6, a reusable rocket that competes with SpaceX's Falcon 9. It successfully completed its first flight in July. The EU is not the only one developing a service that competes with Starlink. Amazon is also working on its own internet satellite project called Kuiper. The first satellites are scheduled to be deployed in 2025. The development of the IRIS² network in Europe means that the global satellite internet market will no longer be dominated by large providers like Starlink. This has important implications for end users. Competition between providers will force them to improve service quality, improve technology, and reduce costs to attract users. For example, Starlink may have to adjust its prices or optimize its service packages in Europe to maintain its market share. At the same time, IRIS² can also offer differentiated data policies and added value to compete, bringing direct benefits to individual users, businesses, and governments. While Starlink currently dominates the market in many hard-to-reach areas, the emergence of IRIS² could open up internet connectivity opportunities for developing countries, particularly in areas where terrestrial telecommunications infrastructure is weak. Satellite internet services are an optimal solution to bridge the digital divide. In addition, competition between IRIS² and Starlink could encourage providers to expand coverage, lower cost barriers, and make access more accessible to poor or remote communities. Users in other countries, especially in areas with political instability or heavy surveillance, may be concerned about each provider's data governance policies. IRIS², which is regulated by the EU, can be expected to adhere to higher data privacy standards and stricter consumer protection policies. Meanwhile, Starlink, which is based in the US, is subject to US law, including US government data surveillance requirements. Users can evaluate these differences to choose the service that best suits their privacy and information security concerns. The emergence of multiple providers in the market often drives continuous innovation. In the context of competition with IRIS², Starlink can increase investment in advanced technologies, such as satellites with smarter processing capabilities or energy-efficient designs. Conversely, the development of IRIS² also forces the EU to constantly innovate to catch up with Starlink in terms of technology, especially in areas such as data transmission speed, low latency, and anti-jamming capabilities. This race not only benefits users, but also promotes the overall progress of the global satellite telecommunications industry. The deployment of IRIS² is not only a story of competition between businesses but also reflects the geopolitical competition between technological powers. Users in other countries, especially those regions that do not want to depend on the US or the EU, can exploit this competition to reach beneficial economic and technological cooperation agreements. This also gives those countries more options in developing digital infrastructure, reducing the risk of being overdependent on a single source of supply. From the perspective of users and other countries, the emergence of Iris² brings many opportunities to improve services, increase internet access and promote innovation. At the same time, this competition also creates a more dynamic and transparent environment, contributing to building a healthier and more sustainable global technology ecosystem.